So DICEY's trying to be aware of the flank because since he's a sentinel, that's kind of your job to make sure that you're not getting flanked. Because technically, if you get flanked, I understand you're playing chamber, but if you get flanked, your role is the sentinel role. So if you get flanked, that is your fault. All right, let's go over the edits to chamber real quick. First, we got the change to the spider, little thing that the trip that slows you. They changed the slow. They're planning on changing the slow duration from 9.5 to 6 seconds. Next, we got the Tour de France. Does less damage to the leg, so from 150 to 200, so you can't insta kill on the legs. He's getting an extra ult point, and same thing with the slow cooldown. It's going down. Next, we got the broken shirt. This the one that when you ecos. They just changed the price on it. Honestly, I don't know if the amount of bullets are gonna change, but the price is going from 100 to 150. Next, you got the rendezvous, the broken TP, bruh. They're just increasing the duration, honestly. They're not really doing anything to it, so when you take it back, 20 seconds to 30 seconds. Same thing with when you teleport, 20 seconds to 30 seconds. When it gets broken, 20 seconds, 45 seconds, so maybe your teammates will start breaking the TPs. Also, the range of the TP is going to decrease. This circle is pretty relative to the ratio of 21 to 15, or 15 to 21 meters. And this is the radius is probably going to be, so this is going to be rather impactful. This is probably the biggest change to this guy. Let's go. Let's get into this game. 100 Thieves versus FaZe, baby. All right. I chose FaZe because DICEY is probably one of the best chambers out there. So he will be able to show us a lot of the things that are really good to do on chamber and why chamber is such a good agent to play. And even after the nerf, there is still going to be a place for chamber to be. So here he's getting in a spot that's kind of a one and done spot, but because he has a TP, it's not really one and done. He's going to get a kill, TP out, and then he'll be able to post up on a heaven, which is a long angle. I like this. I like this play. Team is really fighting here hard. Baby Bait, that's just because Baby Bait is Baby Bait things. All right, let's focus on DICEY here. Okay, DICEY gets one in the heaven drop. DICEY's still fighting more because he can. Oh, he gets punished for that. So the idea was there, but he got a little greedy, so careful. That's the decision you got to make with chamber sometimes. Is do you want to get too greedy, and then do you have a chance of getting punished with it? Because look here, let me pause here. You can see DICEY got his kill. He got the kill on the guy dropping, but because of that, they know where he is. So Derek is swinging, knowing where DICEY is, but Derek is 20 HP. So technically, if DICEY hits one body shot, Derek dies. So it's debatable whether this is a good choice or not. If you want to play it safe, you TP out and you play the numbers advantage, because look, if you TP out, you have 2v2, but because he loses this, he kind of wants to get the advantage to make it a 2v1. He'll probably get this kill, TP away, but because he's fighting for this. So here's another issue with the TP. So as you can see, his second TP is on top of this box, meaning in the previous angle where the Sage was coming out of heaven as Derek was coming out of spawn. So when the Sage comes out of heaven, the Sage can also see this TP. So when DICEY TPs, he is going to be very exposed. So he also kind of needs to fight there, and he might not even TP after the fight. So be aware of where your two teleportation points are when you're fighting. Because if you TP while you're fighting and you TP into the fray, then you're dead. Like you just look really stupid. You look like an idiot because you just TP'd and you're standing still. You're a lone duck. You literally look brain dead, so don't do that. They found a weak point in B, so they're just rushing B. Alright. DICEY is probably going to fight B until he gets a pick, because he just set down this oh, never mind. He just... Alright, they got the side... Oh, they ulted. He avoided the ulted. So, I'm going to pause real quick. I'm going to explain. So, I like that play, because then he's able to hear. He can hear if they're running flank, running garage. But if he gets hit by that ult, then he won't be able to hear. And they can just run behind him, because then all 5 will get hit. The fade on Derek will hear that all 5 enemies have been hit, because when you hit people with an ult, it tells you how many people you hit. And if he hears that all 5 people have been hit, then 100 Thieves knows that they can just run it down, and FaZe will have no idea what's going on. So I kind of like that play by DICEY to get out of there, so that they don't think that so that they don't know that all 5 people are hit, and there could be a person on site. And they don't know where they are. But if he got hit, they know all of them are front sight here, and that kind of reveals FaZe's entire position. Good TP, good TP. And then after he posts up on the garage flank, and kind of C flank. FaZe seem to have a read here that 100 Thieves on their B retake that they don't really like flanking C, because they're just hard focusing garage. Also doing a really good stall here. I think by now they've called that all people are in links. See how DICEY play. I think his TP is back up, so he's just hard finding, gets the kill. He'll probably swing this in a second. Probably swing this and TP. He should have his TP back up. Oh, TP? Oh, okay. Let me explain why he didn't TP there. That was a good play. That was a good play by him and a horrible analogy by me. So he doesn't TP there because if he TPs, one, he's out of ammo. He does have 8 sheriff shots, but one, he's out of ammo in his rifle, and 2, the bomb is smoked off. So if he TPs and comes back window, he's going to have to spam the smoke. He has 8 sheriffs to hit him in the head. If he does not hit 3 body shots or 1 in the head, the round is lost. Good play by DICEY training out his teammates. So in pro play and ranked, what will probably happen is this person will just keep swinging, keep going. But in pro play, people will properly swing angles and properly peek angles. So Will was pre-firing and ready for Flya to properly peek this angle, which is why he was holding down that line. But in ranked, you probably want to hold and be ready for like a wide swing or something because people don't know how to peek angles. But then as you get to Radiant or something, then people might actually figure out how to properly peek an angle, but until then, you probably just want to hold for like a wide peek. And if you're holding for a jiggle or a shoulder peek, then just hold for a close peek, because there's no shot anybody your rank knows how to freaking jiggle or anything. Okay, so what? No, quick thing that Will did right there. So instead of turning around and shooting the utility, you wait a second. You don't need the instant shoot utility because a lot of times people will peek with the utility. So if you wait a second, someone will peek. There is a high chance, especially in rank, someone will peek with the utility, and because you're chamber, you can wait a second until that utility pops, like the eye or the suck. And once it pops, then you TP. But while it's being thrown or while it's landing, you can wait. Same thing with like a flash. If you're flashed, then we saw it with the previous clip. But DICEY, when he got flashed, he waited like maybe half a second and then took the shot and TP'd. And he ended up getting the kill and he got out. Just move the camera to a better spot so that you guys can see all of the stuff that's going on down here. All the econ and stuff. Econ's very important, by the way. Econ in this game is very important. Not necessarily for chamber because the sheriff. So that's another plus about chamber is he has a huge economic advantage because of his sheriff and his operator. So the sheriff, it costs little and it's extremely valuable. His operator is really freaking good until the nerfs comes in because there might be less shots or something like that. So when that happens, it might be not as good, but the ability to shoot it really fast is probably not going to be changed, and that part is very, very, very good about his operator. You can shoot it fast, the equip time is really fast, and it's free. That's basically the biggest thing, is that it is free. It is 7 ult points, now 8 ult points, but it is still really good, and 1 or 2 kills with it can drastically change the feeling of a round and how a round's going to turn out. Or the desert. The desert. Alright. Both teams have buys in theory. Okay, so they give DICEY the hero rifle because he's performing this game and he has the ability to get a pick and get out. So all of his supporting teammates have utility to work DICEY up into an angle, either B or up garage. Which is what they seem like to be doing, and they will post him up on a spot so that he can catch someone on the rotates, or so that he can push far enough in so that he can get one where they're not expecting. So, like for example, if Sage turns around to help garage, he walks up, gets the timing on B, kills Sage in the back, and then can TP out of there. Gets the numbers advantage and gets out of there freely. That's another way you can play chamber. Here we go. They start. It seems like they're actually using both rifles together. I kind of like this. So what they're doing is the people without guns are holding flanks, so they're kind of a little bit playing to their advantage of holding and not needing to peek with disadvantageous weapons, and the people with advantageous weapons are kind of working together. So I think let me pause real quick. You guys might be wondering why there's no chamber trip down. Will has his trip either for a couple reasons. One, because he doesn't need it because their ability to hold down the map is very solid. They have the crossfire on B. Two, he forgot to put the trip down and he just, stinky moment. Three, he's gonna get a kill. He's gonna put the trip and leave. Four, there is nobody for long enough time, so he throws the trip and leaves. Five, on the retake for C, he throws a trip in like spawn or something so that they can't get flanked by a lurk. There is arguably reason to hold your trip and use it for other reasons, but typically you want to place down your trip pre-round and have it hold an angle. DICEY's trying to stay in range of his TP. So here's the thing that we like about the TP here, is with the new update, the range isn't going to be as big, but a good thing about the TP is when you put it behind a wall, it's harder to be seen. So when he's walking up into B, people can't see the TP from A link because it's behind the wall. But with the new change, you won't be able to walk as far away from it, so maybe throwing TPs in the open might become more viable. But they can be broken, so be aware where you place your TP because it can be broken, and where you TP from and to is also very important. Okay, I see what he did. So he put the trip towards A expecting an A push, which is why he doesn't put the TP in window this time, because TPing window is not safe because he doesn't have the trip fully protecting window. So that's why he doesn't put the TP in window this round, because it's not fully protected, which is very smart by him. Because he's aware that this trip is not only, it has a double purpose here. It's watching the flank, and it's protecting his TP. But in this round, they're just worried about the A flank because they're yet to get flanked by C, to their knowledge. Except we know that last round, Stellar flanked down C long. But they don't know that. They just think that they're just not flanking C, so they're just hard tripping A. That's another thing about your anchors is, you need to be aware what you're going to be able to do once you place your anchor down. Because once you place the anchor down, if you go out of it, you are risking what you typically do. Because a chamber will typically play rather aggressive around his anchor. But it's kind of like a psychological thing where the golden perimeter around the anchor, you're not really gonna leave it. It's more of a psychology. It's like kind of like psychological. It's like, oh my gosh, here's the golden ring. Don't leave the golden ring. You can leave the golden ring, but understand the risks you're taking. Because when you leave the golden ring, you do not have a get out of jail free card. If you die or start getting shot, you are dead. You have given them the operator, which is why he's anchored there. But because all of his teammates started pushing around here, he was kind of a little lost walking around. So be aware of where you're putting your anchor and how you're going to have to play around your anchor. Because if you put it down here and end up on the other side of backside B, then you should have just kept it so you can put it on backside B, or if you were always intending on going to backside B. So think about what you're going to do before you do it, and that will set you up so much better for the round. Like not even, you don't even think like a minute, just like 5 seconds. Just think, okay, in 5 seconds, where am I going to position myself? You know, how have they typically retaken the site? Where am I going to position myself to counter their retake? You know, think about those kind of things whenever you're going to place your TP or utility down. Those are the kind of things I need to be thinking about. Where am I going to go? How am I going to react? How do they typically take this retake? You know, just think about those things. Okay, so when you're playing the fake, there's a couple things you can do. If you have an operator, I think his decision is probably the best here. He'll probably end up going long and he'll post up on heaven, because they don't have a smoke for heaven, but they have a wall for spawn. So he'll probably come long, post up on heaven because that's just what he needs to do. And then Poise will go and lurk. The second option is to do what Poise is doing, is going lurk. If you have a rifle and your teammate and you're confident in your team's ability to hold down sight, you think that they have enough utility, they have proper positioning, the enemy team isn't going to get there fast enough so that you can get a flank up in time. That's another way to play, is to do a flank. But what's going to happen here is DICEY is going to go long, he's going to pull out the op, he's going to post up on heaven, and he'll have his teammates heaven. There we go, boom, gets the kill. That's what I like to see. That smoke came in at the perfect time as well. So now that heaven was smoked, DICEY uses that as a way to start walking up. So another thing that's very important, he took his anchors back. So make sure when you are rotating to pick up your anchors. I see people do this all the time. They will rotate and they won't pick up their freaking anchors, dude. It is so annoying. I'm watching them like, dude, you just rotated from A to C and there's 20 seconds left in the round. You are not going to go back. They literally have the sight, dude. You're not going to go back. So just pick up your anchors because they will come back in 20 seconds. With the nerf, it's going to be 30 seconds, but 30 seconds still. There is enough time in a retake for 30 seconds to happen because the bomb takes roughly 40 plus seconds to defuse. 45 seconds. I don't remember the specific number, but it takes about 40 seconds. That means that there is possibly 10 seconds in the instance that your TPs can become extremely valuable. Imagine you're in a situation, you got a 2v1 going on, your teammate's sticking the bomb, and you have the ability to post up on a deeper angle. The bomb is default. The lurk is, the team is late coming in. You can have an early post angle on short, get the kill, and then go long, or like go to default. Boom, huge. Or from default to short. But the only way you can do that is if you remember to pick up your freaking anchors when you're rotating, man. I hate when people do that, dude. It's so annoying. Then he posts up on the angle because the smoke's about to go, and he gets 2 kills on the heaven angle. That was really good by him. I like that. Notes to take from that attacking VoD. You can post up to wait for a peek with chamber. Remember to take your anchors when rotating. That's a huge one. Be aware of where your trip is, because we saw where this trip is, that if you put your trip to cover your window TP, if you put it A, be aware that when you TP back to window, that area could be compromised by the enemy. And 4, be aware where your anchors are positioned, because when you TP back, you could die. And where you put it is kind of where you're limited to that golden ring. Remember that? It's almost like a golden rule to chamber, the golden ring rule. You want to stay within that, but that doesn't mean you can't break it, because people do break the golden rule sometimes. But remember, if you want to be safest, try to stay within that golden ring. The sheriff is really good for economy. Chamber's economy, it's different than most people. That's the 5th thing you want to remember. The economy. The operator is insane. It's free. It's 8 ult points. It's really good. It can win them the round. Just that operator, having your teammates help you work that operator in a good spot. Another thing we learned was contacting plays. When you're contacting up, remember to hold the crossfires. One person looks this way, the other person looks this way. As you're contacting up, you can either get the kill or maybe end up whiffing, so then you can jump to a safe spot, toss a TP down, and get out of there. Be aware of like your, not only the golden ring, but where you put your first anchor and how big that gray circle is around it. Because in order to put your second TP down or your second anchor down, it needs to be within that golden ring. So be aware of that. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great time with your chamber and ranked adventures, and good luck.
Yeah, going ain't like nigga. Move out the way, please don't be a hero. Bling blow, she no skateboard P. Bling blow, she no skateboard P.